Thanos had a brother long before the universe knew his name, a brother stronger than the mad Titan, and forgotten by every Avenger. He wasn't searching for the Infinity Stones, he was searching for revenge. Because Thor once made a promise to Asgard, a promise that killed him. Now the brother of Thanos has returned from the edge of creation, and he brought a weapon even the gods feared to name. Thor thinks he's facing another war, but this time the mistake was his. And the price of that mistake is Asgard itself. There were only two beings who had ever seen the edge of the universe and returned. One was Thanos. The other was the one he never spoke about. His name had been erased from Titan's memory cores. Not by accident, by command. Thanos didn't fear the Avengers, nor the Celestials, nor even the living tribunal. But he feared one being above all, his brother, Asterion, forgotten by myth, banished by truth, and now awakened by rage. The skies above New Asgard trembled, not because of warships or alien portals, but because of memory, the kind of ancient, cosmic memory buried so deep even Heimdall had once refused to look at it. Thor felt it in the wind, not a breeze, not a storm, a pulse. The lightning god stood at the cliffside, eyes narrowed, his fingers tightening around Stormbreaker. He didn't speak. He didn't call the Avengers. He just waited, because he knew Asterion wasn't just coming. He was here. The stars above worked, forming a single line of fire across the sky. Time around it bent. Asgard's defenses flared for a second, then failed without a sound. It wasn't magic. It wasn't science. It was presence. A figure stepped through the burning rift. No armor, no weapon, no followers. Just one man, skin like polished obsidian, eyes like fractured suns. His silhouette flickered, as if the universe itself refused to hold him in place. Thor knew that shape. He had struck it once with Mjolnir, and it took a piece of the hammer with it. "You should have stayed dead," Thor said, voice low. "You should have kept your promise," Asterion replied. Centuries ago, when Titan's experiments spiraled out of control, the Eternals had built two prototypes, Asterion and Thanos. But Asterion's power was too unstable. He wasn't meant to conquer. He was meant to reshape. He could alter mass, redirect energy, and unravel matter just by touching it. A walking singularity, with a mind that felt everything. Thor, Odin, and the leaders of the Eternal Council once made a secret pact. Trap Asterion before he could collapse another star system. And to do that, they needed a lie. Thor had promised Asterion peace, promised to help him. Instead, he led him to the edge of the dying star system of Zlanther and slammed him into the core of a neutron sun. Odin sealed it with a void sigil, a seal that required a god's betrayal to activate. Thor was that betrayal, and now the price had arrived. "You don't have to do this," Thor said. Asterion took one step forward. The sand beneath him ignited. "No," he said. "You already did." Stormbreaker flew. But before it could even reach him, Asterion blinked, not with his eyes, but with space itself. The axe froze in midair, not slowed, not stopped, rewritten. It fell to the ground as pieces of burning metal. Thor didn't flinch. He summoned the lightning, channeling it through every nerve. His armor pulsed with crackling rage, eyes glowing with the fury of 10,000 storms. He launched. Their collision shattered the sky. Birds vanished. Clouds spiraled. The sea below lifted like a hand and crashed down in waves that hit shores 1,000 miles away. Blow after blow, Thor fought like a god who knew he might not return. But for every strike he landed, Asterion absorbed the force, his body bending time around the impact. The longer the battle went, the stronger he became. "You lied to me," Asterion growled, catching Thor's fist mid-swing. "You looked me in the eyes and smiled." "I had to stop you," Thor gasped. "You were breaking reality." "You broke me," Asterion whispered. He threw Thor into the mountains. The entire ridge exploded, not from impact, from being folded. The god of thunder barely had time to rise before Asterion stepped through the rubble like a ripple in time. "You're not fighting me, Thor," he said. You're fighting the truth you buried." With a whisper, he summoned it. A blade, not made, condensed. A singularity compressed into the shape of a sword, forged in the rift where he'd been imprisoned. It pulsed with screams that weren't sound but gravity. Stormbreaker flew back into Thor's hand, rebuilt from shattered fragments in midair. Two weapons, two gods. One mistake. They clashed again. Every bolt of lightning struck in reverse. Every thunderclap echoed before the swing. Asterion wasn't just powerful. He was corrupting causality itself. Thor fell again, this time harder. Blood on his lip, eyes flickering. And then he saw it. The thing he didn't expect. Asterion breathing heavy. Slower. Thor stood. "You're breaking," he said. Asterion didn't deny it. That's the point. He lifted the blade and drove it into the ground. Reality bent. Asgard itself began to fold inwards. Not destroy, mirror. He was creating a second Asgard. A twisted one. One built from a lie, where Thor never betrayed him. And it was replacing the original. Thor screamed, lightning pouring from every vein, and hurled Stormbreaker into the center of the distortion. It clashed with Asterion's singularity blade, and for 1 second, the sky went white. Then, silence. Ashes fell like snow, a crater miles wide, empty. No Asterion, no weapon, only Thor kneeling, broken, but alive. He didn't speak. He just looked at the sky, because he knew this wasn't a victory. This was just the beginning. The universe remembered him now, and Asterion would return, because the one thing more dangerous than Thanos is the brother who still feels love, twisted, burning, and aimed at the god who broke it. Asterion didn't die. He didn't vanish. He became somewhere else. That's what made him unstoppable. He didn't move through space. He folded it. He didn't teleport. He removed the concept of distance. When Thor collapsed in the ashes of the crater, he thought he had done enough. That Stormbreaker had ended it. That the rift between their worlds had closed. But that's not how Asterion worked. He was a fracture in logic, a living correction, a version of the cosmos that never should have existed, and now demanded the rest of reality match him. Hours after the blast, new Asgard skies turned orange. Not from sunset, from light bending around something that wasn't there, but was watching. The children stopped playing. The birds didn't return. Even Mjolnir, resting beneath the shrine of Odin, began to hum, like it sensed the end coming again. Thor stood at the edge of the crater for hours, unmoving. Not because he couldn't leave, but because he didn't know how to win. He had fought monsters, tyrants, gods, and shadows. But Asterion wasn't any of those. He was regret. He was guilt given form. And he was coming back. It was Loki who said it first. "You didn't kill him," he muttered as he stepped through a distortion gate behind Thor. "I know. You didn't even stop him." "I know," Loki sighed. "Then you'll need help." "I don't need the Avengers," Thor replied. "I didn't say them." Across the galaxy, tremors echoed in ancient ruins. The Eternals, long silent, began whispering again. The name Asterion hadn't been spoken in eons. Not because they forgot him, but because they swore never to remember. But now they remembered, and they weren't ready. Circe tried to contact Thor. No signal. Druig warned Erishem. Too late, because Asterion had already begun his next phase. He didn't attack. He replaced. One planet at a time, the stars began to shift. Observers noticed that entire solar systems were rotating out of sequence. Not moving, transforming. Galaxies were realigning based on an origin point that hadn't existed before. Asterion was rebuilding the universe around himself. Not to rule it, to rewrite it, so the betrayal never happened. And to do that, he didn't need an army. He needed a mirror. He needed Asgard, but not the one that stood on Earth. The original, the Golden City, the floating towers, the Bifrost, the halls of Odin, all of it, gone when Ragnarok came. Or so Thor believed, until Heimdall's old sword began glowing. Not with power, with memory. Inside Stormbreaker's core, the Bifrost coating began unraveling. Runes not seen since the earliest days of the Nine Realms started appearing in flashes across the weapon's surface. Thor watched them closely. They weren't warnings. They were coordinates, and they pointed to a place that shouldn't exist. The Hollow Realm, a layer of space beneath Yggdrasil, a buried reality between realms, where echoes of things destroyed still waited to be remembered. And that's where Thor realized the truth. Asterion wasn't trying to build a new Asgard. He was trying to bring the old one back, piece by piece. Because that's where he was born, not on Titan, but beneath the roots of the World Tree, in a secret pact between Odin and the Eternals. Asterion was never meant to survive past the testing phase. He was a weapon disguised as a son, and Odin buried the project deep until Thor unearthed it with kindness. "I told him I'd protect him," Thor whispered. "Then you lied," Loki said quietly. Thor turned, fury behind his eyes. But Loki didn't flinch. He simply added, "And that's why he's going to burn everything." The Hollow Realm wasn't just hidden. It was locked, not by keys, by remorse. To reach it, one had to face their deepest regret, and Thor had no choice but to walk through that fire. Stormbreaker pulsed as he descended. No portal, no path, just steps into echoes of things that never happened, but might have. He saw Odin weeping. He saw himself striking Asterion's back. He saw a child with Titan eyes smiling and then vanishing, each step cut deeper than any blade. But he reached it, the Hollow Realm. It shimmered like a broken memory. Towers rebuilt from light, statues uncarved by time, an Asgard that never died because it never lived. And in the center, Asterion, floating, eyes closed, holding a star in his palm. Not a weapon, a seed. He didn't turn to look at Thor. "You came. I had to." Asterion finally faced him. His face was calm, almost forgiving. "You never understood it," he said. "You didn't trap me to stop destruction. You did it because you feared what you couldn't control. I feared what I couldn't undo. You still do." Thor gritted his teeth. "So what's this? A new war? Another cosmic rewrite?" "No," Asterion said, opening his hand. The star inside collapsed into a shape, the shape of the old throne room. "This is restoration. This is mercy. I'm giving you the Asgard you lost." Thor stared at it, then shook his head. "That Asgard died with my father. My people have built their own now, smaller, scarred, but real. This is fantasy." Asterion stepped forward. "And what is Asgard, if not a fantasy held together by will?" He placed the seed in Thor's hand. It pulsed. Thor felt his blood shift, his memories blur. He saw his mother again, his old friends, the halls, the laughter, the pride, the pain. It tempted him, but he crushed it. And for the first time, Asterion blinked. "You still choose pain? I choose truth." Asterion's eyes hardened. "Then you choose war." Energy exploded around them, not from Asterion, but from Asgard itself. The Hollow Realm shook. Light collapsed. Stormbreaker hummed, preparing to clash again. But this time, Thor wasn't striking for revenge. He was striking for now, and the brother who could never accept it. The Hollow Realm began to collapse the moment Thor rejected the seed. Not with fire or thunder, but with silence. Reality peeled inward. The sky above them folded like paper under a cosmic weight. The walls of the old Asgard flickered, as if realizing they were never real to begin with. Asterion didn't speak. He simply stepped back, watching Thor with something worse than anger. Disappointment. "You're still chained to the broken now," Asterion said, his voice low. "I offered you eternity. I offered home." Thor raised Stormbreaker, "And you offered it by erasing everything we've learned." Lightning cracked across his shoulders. The ground beneath them began to rise, shards of old memories, statues of Odin, echoes of old warriors rebuilding themselves in glass and flame. Asterion floated above the shifting ground, his body glowing with gravitational bends. Around him, stars began forming in orbit. Not real stars, simulations from memory. a child's recollection of what power looked like. Thor didn't wait. He charged, Stormbreaker swinging through the twisted air, carving a straight path through the illusion. Asterion met the blow with his bare hand. The axe didn't bounce. It paused mid-swing, frozen in midair by the sheer weight of space folding against itself. Asterion spun, driving Thor into the side of the ancient throne room. The wall shattered, but it didn't fall. It hung there, suspended mid-collapse, caught in a moment Asterion refused to let go. "You're fighting because you think it's right," Asterion said, voice calm. "But you never asked if it was necessary." Thor stood slowly. "I've learned that necessary things don't always feel right." He roared, thunder erupting from within, and struck again. This time the blow hit. Stormbreaker cleaved through Asterion's shield of condensed starlight and grazed his side. Asterion didn't flinch, but his eyes lit with realization. "You've evolved," he said, blood glowing in gold, dripping from his side. "I've lived." Asterion threw his hand forward. Gravity twisted sideways. Thor was yanked from the floor, pulled through a spiral of broken timelines. He saw versions of himself he barely remembered. Thor the Conqueror, Thor the Wanderer, Thor the child holding Mjolnir for the first time. Then he slammed into a floor that wasn't there moments before. "This is what I am," Asterion said from above, floating like a god among dying stars. "A universe where possibility never ends. You chained yourself to cause and effect. I am effect first." "You're a child rewriting bedtime stories," Thor spat, rising again. "You're a god who forgot his own myths." Asterion raised both hands. The hollow realm pulsed. Suddenly Thor wasn't alone. All around him, versions of him appeared. From other realities, fractured and frayed. Some noble, some monstrous, some dead. "I want you to understand," Asterion said, stepping between them. "This is what you could have been, and still might." One of the other Thors lunged, eyes burning red, carrying a hammer soaked in blood. Thor met him midair, breaking the copy's arm and shattering its face into light. Another version screamed and exploded in lightning. Two more charged. Thor struck, rolled, slammed Stormbreaker down in a wave of thunder that scattered them like dust. They weren't real. They were lessons. "I've seen multiverses torn apart," Thor growled, stepping toward Asterion. "I've buried more friends than I can name. And you think some alternate version of me is going to scare me?" "No," Asterion said. "I thought it might wake you." They met again. This time, it wasn't a god versus a brother. It was history versus memory. Every strike from Thor ripped open the sky. Every counter from Asterion rewrote it. They fought through broken temples and fields of stars, across bifrost echoes and silent halls that hadn't existed in 1,000 years. The hollow realm became unstable. The more Asterion shaped it, the more it tried to become something else, something unrecognizable. Then it cracked. The sky split open, and reality screamed. A beam of raw void pierced the ground between them, tearing through the illusion. From the outside, the universe began pulling the hollow realm back into itself, trying to correct the unnatural existence. It was crumbling, and Asterion didn't care. "I was made to fix things," he said, breathing harder now. "And I will fix what Odin broke." He threw his hand toward Thor, this time not with force, but with grief. A wave of memory crashed over the thunder god. Thor dropped to one knee. He saw Asterion's childhood, alone in the lower chambers of Titan's labs. No voice, no name, no warmth. Odin visiting once, seeing the project, speaking coldly, approving the seal, declaring Asterion unsuitable for command. Then Thor, young, bright, innocent, entering the chamber, smiling at him, offering friendship, and then the betrayal, the trap, the seal, the sun. Thor gasped as the memory broke over him. He looked up and for the first time didn't see a monster. He saw someone who never had a choice. "You were born in a lie," Thor whispered. "I was born to fix the ones you told. I didn't know what they'd do to you. You didn't ask." The hollow realm shook again. Debris fell in slow motion. Light began to collapse in streams, like rain moving upward. The end had come. And Thor stood, even broken, even bleeding. He stood. Then let's finish it. Asterion nodded once. The blade returned to his hand, folded from a collapsing star. Stormbreaker sparked, lightning climbing its edge. And they clashed again, not for revenge, not for guilt, but because both believed the world had betrayed them, and only one version could survive. The final strike didn't shatter worlds. It ended one. When Stormbreaker collided with Asterion's singularity blade, the hollow realm didn't explode. It unraveled. Time flinched. Gravity screamed. The realm folded in on itself, like wet parchment thrown into a dying flame. And in the center of that collapse, Thor and Asterion locked in place, neither moving, because neither could. The weapons had fused. Energy poured from the contact point, threading into the core of both gods. Stormbreaker sparked with Asgardian magic and thunder. Asterion's blade pulsed with broken gravitational code. Their powers surged back into each other in a loop the universe didn't understand. Then Asterion blinked once and whispered, "I see it." Thor's grip tightened. "See what?" "You were never my enemy." Thor's arm shook, still holding the axe in place. "Then stop." "I can't. Not anymore." The hollow realm screamed as it tore open. The sky shattered into shards of light, and through the cracks, space watched them. Galaxies beyond the realm flickered with awareness. Beings older than time felt the shift. Even the Celestials paused. Asterion stepped back, not by choice. He was pulled. The hollow realm had judged him. He was no longer stabilizing it. He had become its contradiction, and it wanted him gone. Asterion's body flickered between forms: child, warrior, god, void. His voice broke into echoes. "They'll never stop coming for me," he said. "I tried to fix it. I tried to give them something beautiful." "You tried to erase pain," Thor said. "But pain is how we learn." Asterion's eyes locked on him. For the first time, there was peace there. He reached out, not in attack, but in understanding. And Thor, despite everything, took his hand. The storm silenced. The hollow realm held its breath. And then Asterion let go. The star blade shattered into dust. His body, no longer fighting the pull, dissolved into light. Not destruction. Release. Thor stood alone in the final flickers of the realm, surrounded by pieces of a memory that never truly existed. One last time, he looked up, expecting more war. But nothing came. Only silence, and the faintest voice in the lightning. "Thank you for remembering me." Stormbreaker returned to his back, and the hollow realm collapsed. Thor fell through the last crack of the hollow realm just before it sealed shut behind him. He didn't land. The Bifrost caught him midair, summoned not by command, but by memory. Heimdall's sword, buried deep in New Asgard, flashed once, its ancient programming still bonded to Thor's soul. He arrived alone. No fanfare, no crowd, just the wind, just the weight. Stormbreaker scraped the stone steps of the shrine as Thor limped toward the edge of the cliff, the same cliff where it all began. The sky was still orange, but it wasn't Asterion this time. It was sunset, and Thor, for the first time in ages, felt tired. Behind him, Loki emerged without a word. He didn't joke. He didn't smirk. He simply stood there, quiet, eyes low. "Is he gone?" Loki asked finally. Thor nodded. "Forever." Thor didn't answer, because even he didn't know. Asterion didn't die. He transcended, escaped into a layer of reality Thor couldn't define. Not heaven, not hell. Something else. Something earned. Thor hadn't destroyed him. He released him. And the strange part was, that hurt more. "You mourn him," Loki said, watching his brother's face. "I mourn what he could have been." The wind passed between them. For a long time, neither spoke. Then Loki stepped closer. "What now?" Thor looked to the sky, then to the sea, then to the people of New Asgard, laughing somewhere in the valley below. "Now, I protect the pain," he said. Loki frowned. "That's dark even for me." But Thor wasn't joking. Asterion tried to erase everything that hurt, rewrite it, paint over it with perfect memories. But perfection rots. The truth, even when broken, teaches us how to be better. He turned slowly, and I'd rather carry that pain than forget who I am. Loki nodded once, then smiled, not mockingly, but with something rare, respect. As they walked down the hill, the Bifrost shimmered again. This time, it wasn't Heimdall's sword. It was Stormbreaker, pulsing with residual energy from the Hollow Realm. A final message. One last flicker of golden light hung in the air. A vision, brief, faint, almost gone. It showed a boy alone in a lab, reaching for the stars he was never allowed to touch. Then it was gone. Thor didn't cry, but he remembered. He would always remember. Asterion was Thanos' brother, but he was Thor's mistake. And now, Thor would make sure no such mistake happened again. Because gods don't learn from glory. They learn from the ones they failed. And Thor had failed just once. But once was enough to rewrite the stars. The end.